Real numbers can be divided into two groups: the rational numbers and the irrational numbers. Now, I've made the circles different size because we have subgroups of our rational numbers, and we don't have very much we have to talk about the irrational numbers. That doesn't necessarily mean that there are more of one than there are of the other. We just have more to say about rational numbers. So let's talk first about the irrational numbers. One example of an irrational number is pi. If we try to write pi as a decimal, we find that the decimal keeps on going without end and without repeating. It starts out as 3.14159 and just keeps going forever. We call this a non-terminating, non-repeating decimal. Another example of an irrational number is the square root of 2, which also is a non-terminating, non-repeating decimal. The square root of any number that is not a perfect square is an irrational number. Now let's go to the rational numbers. The group of rational numbers can be divided into several subgroups. Let's start with the inner circle of rational numbers. The inner circle is called the natural numbers, or the counting numbers. These are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. In our next circle, we have the whole numbers, which includes all the counting numbers and the number 0. Next up, we have the integers. That includes all the whole numbers plus all the opposites, or the negative numbers. And then in the outermost circle, which includes all the other circles, we add in the numbers we usually call fractions, such as 1/2, 7/8, and so on. Also included are decimals that either come to an end, such as 4.28, or repeating decimals, such as 1.99999, and so on. If a number falls inside a particular circle, it's also inside all the other circles that contain that circle. For example, let's look at the number 398. Where would we put that in our circles? Well, 398 is a counting number. It's a natural number, so it would land inside this circle. Notice that it also falls inside all the other circles, so the number 398 is also a whole number, an integer, and a rational number. How about the number -5? Well, we can't put -5 in here or here because this does not include negative numbers. -5 is an integer, and it's inside the bigger circle of rational numbers. Let's try one more example. -5 halves. It's a negative, but it's not an integer. It's what we call a fraction, a negative fraction, and the only group we can put that in is in the outer group of rational numbers.